Poetry Show with the Lonely Poet. Welcome to the Poetry Show with the Lonely Poet. This is the Lonely Poet. I am the Lonely Poet. On a given time, there are many people who claims to be lonely poet, but I am the Lonely Poet. I am the one who owns the lonelypoet.com. So internet, I own the Lonely Poet. But even though I don't really trademark my name, but that's where it is. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show, everyone out there, on YouTube and poetry shows watched by many others. I'm not on Ivy Log, which I thought I should go, but I'm not going to do that now. It's a little too late to actually log in there and play around with it. I was down there, washing my hands. After washing all the because I was receiving these groceries from Costco. They delivered it. These Instacart guys. No offense against anybody else, but even after delivering, I go through this hand washing procedure for like 3 times. I get obsessed with that. So, and I'm running out of this my what's the name hand sanitizer, which is pretty hard to get these days. But I may have to bring another bottle, which is sitting down there. I don't use that much. That's where things are. I hope everybody can hear me. There is audio. And it's I'm not going to check audio on YouTube and everything. I don't have a lot of time to play around with. It's a Friday, even though I haven't received any call from my sister-in-law's cousin. Usually on Fridays I go there to eat. Maybe she's busy. Maybe I'll go tomorrow. Well, tomorrow may not be a good idea. But I don't know whether I'm going to be even here. But let's see what goes. Coming down to where we are when it comes to there will be phone calls flying around, so I'll mute that. It's something I need to really talk about. This poem. This is good. This poem was written last year. If I'm talking about years, I spend the Christmas time all by myself. And this poem was written and posted on the same day on Christmas Eve. It was an awesome time. I can say I was all by myself. There is a part of the loneliness part of it. That's available to you. No matter what, you can be alone. And after I came to United States, I trained myself. Even when I was in India, I was used to be a little secluded. Other than there are times when I need to be myself, and I want to spend those times by myself. Why I am saying this is then I came to United States and I spent some time alone, and I want to sit and write alone, and I want to spend some time alone. Even though say first 3 months I lived with three guys, because we were in a 2-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, 2 guys in 1 room. That was the company that gave us that facility. After that, after those 3 months, I moved in with one of a person I met. I told a while back. I was living in Courtyard Square apartment. I moved to another friend's place, whom I met there. They were students. So I moved with them. So age-wise, I was going down. So I know it was like a party environment. We were having so much fun. Summer. I came in March after 3 months. It was purely open summer. We were blasting out Summerfest and Harley Fest, you name it. Every festival out there, we will be. After about 3-4 months, I bought the car and Then once I got the car, it is like sky is the limit. Wherever, whatever time, somebody comes and says, yes, there's something going on there. So I'll just get in there. Okay, let's go. I don't even ask, okay, what's going on. One day, one guy came and told me, he was like crying, and I was like, what's happening, man? So my girlfriend and me, they had a fight, and she lives in Green Bay. I said, oh yeah, let's go to Green Bay. So that's the way it was. I don't really care whether I have job or things like that. Then everything kind of went into a twisting change. That's what I'm coming down to. Twisting change that came out with me going away from Milwaukee. I didn't really feel good about it, but yeah, that happened. So that loneliness, even in all that chaos and confusion, there was this portion of time I spent all by myself. So I want to sit and write and do things all by myself. This is where things started developing into that lonely poet idea. Then when I went to Florida, for doing a project work there, I went there and I did the project work there. When I was sitting there, the whole lonely poet got established. The ideas about putting things online, everything came out there. Till that time, I was just writing something that looks like mostly song lyrics. I followed that because I was a big follower of Bernie Taupin and Bob Dylan. Two of the master lyricists. I was a big follower of them, so I learned a lot about how to simplify things, use only simple words instead of complicated language or structures. I avoided all structures which I learned in school. About poetic structures and rhymes and rhythms and all those things. I said, okay, done with all that. I will find my own rhythm and I will follow those rhythm exactly in the way I wanted. So that's when that those are the kind of things I wrote till then. Then I came to US. After spending a little bit of time, what I truly did was I started writing in poetic form. Then it is actually my own structure I actually followed. Usually take a piece of music. Usually it comes from, it's a sound, which I take from a piece of a song or a classical musical piece, or another way I actually do is, okay, I take a sound. At that time, when I was buying, I used to buy CDs. And then bought these cheap CDs, like about $5. You'll get two CDs. These are sounds of nature. So I listen to these sounds of nature, like thunderstorm, calm rain, sound of oceans. These different sounds are there. So I listen to that, and then I make a rhythm out of that, then write it, even though it is not a very singing situation, but that is a rhythm I follow. So it's trying to get a rhythm out of this. So because every poet needs a rhythm. Otherwise nothing is going to happen. Nothing. It will sound like reading prose, even though I come pretty close to the prose part of things. So that's how this whole thing started. And even when I was sitting in Hurricane George, 1998, sometime in, I think, November time, Hurricane George came, and I was sitting there, and there were plenty of things I was going through at that time. So it was a very nice time, but it's not the time that matters. How people train themselves to be alone. One of the things I have learned, or from my first-hand experience, was, one has to learn what are the basic needs you have, and that's you. There is nobody else out there, who can have that. I mean, no matter how many servants and other things, people you appoint, your managers and assistants and friends, and your entourage or whatever it is, it still comes down to what is your basic need. And that basic need can only be done by you. There were, feudal times and all other people are there, but for me to get that satisfaction, I need to be just me doing certain things. Say, for example, if I'm actually, when I was young, I used to be fed and clothed and everything done by other people. But then when I grew up, so I learned, even when that this is something, there are people who are obligated to do this, they are there, for a reason. They clean my area, they clean things, wash my shirt, and iron my shirt. All these things were happening when I came to United States. This has to be done by me, and I had no problem doing it. I just take care of myself. I'm even though nowadays it is a little overwhelming because I put a lot of stuff around, like you have seen the camera and everything, through the camera, this area I make a lot of mess, because there is nobody else, I'm just being me. And even downstairs, there are times, I keep my trash can inside, and I think 2 weeks back I said, the trash can is inside, it's still sitting there. Now tomorrow I need to put that trash can out, so that Monday they will come and pick it up, or Tuesday, I don't know which day, I don't even know which day. So those are the kind of scenario I'm facing right now, so yeah, there you can slack at times, but overall I take care of, I learn to take care of myself, even the very thing I cook, so there is a taste I like, and I follow that taste instead of trying to satisfy 100 more others, because I'm not cooking for anybody else. So that is the thing, you have to train yourself, as who you want yourself to be. That's the thing, when you are alone, especially when you're alone, you have to follow that path. And when you follow that, then it becomes natural, so things are going to naturally fall in place. The only person that can upset that is you. There is nobody else coming in to actually upset that. Don't follow others. When the moment you start following others, then you are upsetting this rhythm all by yourself. So in a way, if you became a lonely, if you are, say, for example, a single person, who have nothing, nobody else coming in right now, or some people go through an in-between relationship situation where you finished one relationship and then you have taken yourself into another relationship. So where are we going to be in those relationships? That in between time, you are redefining some of the things within yourself, to understand, okay, I failed in some areas, some areas the other person failed. That analysis, every single person goes through that. I have, yeah, that then only after finishing going through that time, then only they will be able to engage into another new relationship. Some people actually go through that, and that chat is a really mess. I know what they're asking. I can see that one word going up and up and up and up. This ring. This is just a ring. Come on, guys. I don't know. I think this is some. It doesn't look like plastic. Maybe it is plastic. I don't know. I can bring it forward. Close. I don't know whether you can clearly see this. It is a well-made ring, though. Whether it is plastic or cubic zirconia or whatever you call that, that stone. It is a red stone. Put it into a ring. It is part of a set of rings. I bought when I was on Wish.com. Wish.com. There was a set of these kind of rings. They were actually selling together for, like, I think at that time, it was, I only need to pay, I have a box full of this. I only need to pay shipping. These things were on sale. Nowadays, it's only, recently I forwarded that link to them. It is like about $13. At that time, it was like, I think I only paid shipping. I don't remember. It's been there for a while. I just, go into that box once in a while and take one ring and put it on. Usually, most of these rings only fit my, to this pinky finger. There is a ring like this one for my finger, pinky. I like wearing a ring in here, either one of these things. But that ring is kind of little chunky. Then there is another ring. This is what I want to really wear. I need to get back to my poetry thing. But this is too big for my pinky. See, I want to wear this here. I used to. Now it goes to about this much. But in 22 years, you can grow a bit. I used to wear this ring, and this ring got a history. 1998, I went to the Lakeside Festival of Art, and a fellow from New York actually handmade this ring for me. So that's he was there, and he took about a couple of hours to actually do this. He had all the materials there, so he needed to assemble that, and he gave that. So it's an awesome ring. And I think I paid like $75 or something like that for that, for the effort he's actually putting in. I said, okay, I'm not, negotiating with you or anything or haggling. Here, take the money. And, and I bought that ring, so it's still there with me. But now I cannot wear that ring, because it doesn't fit any of my fingers. Either it is too big for my ring finger, and for my pinky, it is too, it is too big for the pinky and too small for my, ring finger. So there you go. And I don't wear any ring other than this ring. This ring is, I told you, this has a very, it's been there with me from 2013. I have this ring. There was a time I didn't wear this ring at all for a while. Then I made this ring into a protection ring. So there are things that may confuse people. It's not witchcraft or magic craft or anything like that. It's like there are protecting. There are things in the Quran. That actually being said to protect yourself from many things. Like evil and other things. So those things are recited and blown into this. So it takes months. So it's not even I cannot even if you ask me to do that once more, I may not really do it. I would not, because it is a lot of time. It takes days and days and days and days. I don't wear this. And I kept it, and then I came through 2015 Ramadan and then finished it. At the end of it, I can actually say something about this, and I put a curse on it. Anybody else who wears this ring will die. So that's why I don't really take this ring off, especially when other people are around. Even though I don't know whether that curse is going to really work, I don't know. But what if it works? And somebody else takes and puts it on, and I make a lot of stories about this, around this, so what if somebody wears it and something goes wrong? And that I don't want to take chances. Even when I went to India for my mother's funeral, my niece's daughter, she's now 12 years old. She's like, I want to wear that ring. Can I see the ring? I said, no, I'm not going to give you the ring. She's like, you won't give me the ring? I said, no, she's very talkative. So I was like, I'm not going to give you this ring. You can ask me anything. You can punch me. You can hit me. You can do whatever you want to do with me. But I am not going to give you this ring. I said, yeah. Then my niece also understood. Okay, yeah, there is something there. And she's like, okay, maybe you leave it to him. Because she knows. My niece knows very well. I can be pushed. But the push back when it comes from me, it will be strong. So she's like, okay, just leave it alone. So yeah. I make up a lot of stories, so, how I make the story up, okay. This is a ring of protection. In this ring of protection, okay, there is no weapon made on earth with which you can hurt or kill me. If you want to touch me, you cannot. You take a gun and shoot at me, I will take the bullet. Nothing will happen to me. This is what I say. Then, anybody else who steals this ring from me, by heart, for whatever reason, or tricks me and takes this ring and wears this ring, will die. Okay, only one exception. This is what I already got the LOLs. Okay, the exception is, okay, only my bloodline can wear this ring. The greatest exception is a person carrying that bloodline can wear this ring, will become the bearer of the ring. This is all Lord of the Rings. You see, this, and I always say, the Lord of the Rings, the ring is made as a ring of power. This is a ring of protection. So the ring cannot be used other than protecting yourself. If you try to be offensive, go offensive and try to attack somebody, okay, the ring will not protect you. You understand? So I make up all these things, and I was saying all these things in front of my, niece, and my niece was like, okay, what eloquent way you say this, and the kids were like, oh, so these are all, superstitions, So I was like, okay, whatever you call it, I make up these things and I tell, whenever, and that's why my brother also said every time he says this, there is a different story he says, along with it. So, but this is the reality. Okay, so I said my truth. So there you go. Once more. I think I told this in my blog some time back. We are at 19 minutes. Uh, then the loneliness part. Okay, people actually becomes lonely. How they handle this. Okay, I will come to the point why I actually is saying this. About the loneliness part. Mm, there you go. That's my habit. I always wipe my lips. After drinking water. I don't know why I do that. I still do it. When I was a little kid, I used to do that. Like one of my uncle always used to say, he passed away too. So he used to say, okay, you we used to call you as the elusive, because I don't really like anybody touching me. I was like, I was small, so I can just, elude people and just walk around people. I don't like anybody taking me up or something like that. Even when I was very young, my uncle would say, you don't like anybody taking you up, and you will hit you will hit back. No, 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 hit me down. So loneliness. How do you handle loneliness? Say, uh, the reasons why I'm actually speaking about this is when it comes to dealing with when it comes to dealing with loneliness after a relationship, especially when you finish a relationship and you come into a new relationship. The new relationship is already knocking at your door, and you have to answer that person. But then there is this confusion that is inside of you because you are redefining all the things you like. You already did that with one person. Then you have to take all that things you like and somehow connect it to this new person. This is where people get really confused and under pressure and do a lot of things. For example, in these days it is very common for people to block you on social media. This is the basic reason for that. Some relationships, especially when the relationship is, okay, I want to adjust myself, because my chair went and hit the table. Especially, when the relationship is not very romantic. And I'm going to actually give you an example. When I was in St. Louis, my boss, who was working there, her name was Lynn. I think her name is something Lynn, Caroline, or I think Caroline. I think her name is Caroline. Everybody call her Lynn, So, see, she's a very nice person. And, once we were actually standing there, she was in my queue when we were just talking. She's a much older person than me, in her 50s. Um, and I said, and I was talking about, yeah, I was talking about my brother's kids because I was going there for the birthday and was saying, oh yeah, how old is your brother? I said, okay, my brother also worked for USDA. I said, I was just talking. Oh, I said, yeah, 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 I know him. Because they always talk on the phone and other things. So I said, yeah, in the meetings, I heard him speaking in the meeting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she was saying, okay, how are the kids? I said, okay. Then I naturally asked her, what about you? What about your kids? She's like, I don't have kids. I said, oh, I'm sorry. She's like, nothing to feel sorry because my marriage is not a a perfect marriage. And I said, oh, let's, I said, I don't want you to, say things too personal to you. She's like, no, I don't have, it's a business arrangement. And I didn't really ask what business it was. She said, it's a business arrangement. We never intended to have children or anything like that. I was like, okay, I understand that. So that is one of the thing that can happen. So for another thing is, some people get into relationships for, I have clearly seen when I was in Indianapolis before all that, back in 1999, when I was in Indianapolis, there was these two, I have to say that I'm not going to say the name. Okay, if I say the name, it will only open, old wounds, but there was two people, who were in a relationship at work. So they live on weekends and all, they get together and live together. Of course, know what they do. But I don't want to go into the details of this. Then what happens is, this is a relationship of convenience for them, so that there is no conflict at work, things like that. They can discuss what is going on, because that was a very huge project. Yeah, a lot of people were working in that one project, because it was a year 2000 conversion project. So I was actually taken from Milwaukee to Indianapolis. Other things happened, but these two had a very work relationship. So they were like friends with benefits. So they go do things, and but they know there are times when they have that little bit of a conflict that comes in. They know they have to detach. This 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 benefits all, everything stops, but then they get back together, fix those things. They don't need to even solve many of the problems that happen. So, say for example, the my he was my supervisor. He was not my manager. He's the one who is actually, it's like a technical lead, you can say. He's not the manager, but he is the technical lead. So for him to get this job, he needed to really convince a girl, this lady, not his boss. She's not even working as his boss, but she's in a different area. But she needed to so what he did was, okay, go into an arrangement with her, and they are doing this. So it is like, you need a job, and you need to excel in that job. You can do a good job, so you have to make an arrangement. In these days, Me Too movement and all will come, but it is a Me Too movement in the other way for him. So he actually was in a relationship with that woman just for the heck of it, and because he told me, uh, he I asked him, because it was mentioned to me during a dinner, and that dinner was between me and this other woman, this girl. I told her that I will take her. It was like a bet. Yeah. It was a bet, which I lost. And I said, I need to buy you dinner. She said, like, you need to buy me dinner. I said, oh, yeah, I will buy you dinner. So I took her for the dinner, and he was like, you're taking my girl for dinner. I said, okay, you can join me. She's like, no. It's your date, man. You take her, But it was not like a date, and it was just a business thing, and we were just sitting and talking. When that happened, she said, okay, that we had in a business line relationship. That's what she said. I'm not used to all these things at that time. I was pretty new to United States. Only 1 year into not 1 year, not even a full year. It's like about 8 months. So I'm not familiar with all these deeper interactions between people. I was in a learning phase, and I understood that they are in this relationship. Then later he talked to me, in the work. He was sitting with me. We were actually chalking down, all the technical parts, which we need to go through. That was my basic job there. So I need to go and make sure that which programs are fixed, what they need to fix, those kind of things which I'm putting in. So at that time we were one-on-one interaction, and he told me details about this is how my relationship is. So that is for two people getting together for the work, that relationship. Even when those kind of relationships also ends, there is a portion of which is going to attach to your heart. That is for sure. That's what I'm coming down to. People who gets into a relationship, and then you actually detach from that relationship. Most of the time there is another relationship, person comes in, and when that person comes in and knocks and says, okay, I like you, then you will find all kinds of excuses to actually push that person into a side, but you don't want to leave that person. See, this is the confusion, because that many aspects of things you like is there in that person, but many aspects which you really want in that person may not be there in that person. So this is where you need to find the compromise within yourself. There is an easy way out of this. I know, it is not easy at all, but still that is the easiest path, which 100% of the people I have seen do not take that path. Get to that person, speak to that person, and make sure that person is a reasonable person. See, if somebody is talking to me, or I am talking to somebody else about this, and I'm going through this, what I will definitely do is I can call that person and say, sit with me. Why don't we talk about this? I'm going to tell what happened in that nearest relationship. What happens, and I'm in between a relationship. And these are the things I'm actually liking about you, and I don't want to leave you. I don't want to offend you. I don't want to you to feel disappointed, but I need time and space to actually get through this. And 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 maybe we will work together on that, but till that time, we will not get too much close, because we don't want to fall apart after coming too close too fast. So that's the basic reason. This is exactly something everybody should actually follow through, because most of the time this happens from a girl to a man. When the girl is in this transition time, and another guy usually is the one who is coming. Usually guys are the ones who comes and says, I like you, or I love you, or whatever. Most of the guys want to, I love you. I don't really say that. I say, I like you, then I want to love you, because then I have to understand you, I need to learn more about you. Those kind of way I go. So this is something which one should be very careful about. You don't want to, that's the time when you feel really lonely, where you have to take care of yourself. That's when you learn. Some people just don't. They fall apart too. I have seen that happening. So this is one of the key. I have gone through this myself personally. Through one of the relationship where I needed to take that break and say, cut. This is where it ends, and yeah, this is where it ends. And because nothing productive was happening between us. It was long distance and online and things like that. It's just it's a cycle from which we both were not able to get out. I mean, we both have totally different lifestyles, things like that. And I was like, this is not going to help me. Oh, I need to see the time. Okay. This is not going to help me at all in the long run. So enough is enough. Then I tried everything. In that connection, I tried everything. Is there any reality that can come out of it? It just doesn't make any sense to make it real. So and I know, even you come in real contact, because when people evolve, from say teenage to a youthful age, and then from youthful age to a this the so-called mid age. The mid age, it's, even though it's not the youth age, actually continues all the way. So to the mid age, in the 40s, you will have to change in the mid age to the mid age. So you make those changes. So either one of the parties should have gone through all this, so that the other person can be guided through. So that's why I tell people, make sure that many when two people are going through the same changes, say when their ages are too close, then this guidance will not happen, and it just cannot happen. Because one person is not, no, both of them are going through the same kind of changes, and it will only create friction. That was, I have, in my life, I have looked at people's relationships very closely, because I'm a person who writes about relationships. I try to personalize everything I have seen out there, saying that me and her, anything that goes on, I will try to connect it to her. So I always say that, because many things are third person things I am taking, to and putting it into a poem. So as I do that, so I needed to make sure that I understand these relationships very clearly. So I have seen this happening. People going through this, failures, and then they were not able to recover from that. And it is in many ways, this is a common theme that happens. So it's better the other person should actually be a little, one of the other person. It can go both ways. Sometimes a man or a boy is going to deal with a much older woman, somebody, a cougar, you call it a cougar, or a guy like me, so I think me and little Bose, we were like what, 22, 23 years, difference. I think that is the difference. I don't know. I mean, 2 years back, she said, I'm in my mid 20s, so she's 25 then. So yeah, she should be about 27, so I'm 50. So it's, yeah, 23, 22, 23 years difference. That is a significant amount of age and time difference. But the good that can come out of such a difference is there is a person who had gone through all these changes, who is sitting on a spot, where he can actually help her through these transitions. If it can be the other way around. Say, for example, my friend, Jackson. Well, even though Jackson, things went bad with Jackson, But Jackson's wife was much older, so it's like 12 years older than him. But it went south in a different way, but that is not for discussion here. I don't want to put somebody else's gut out here. But Jackson will come back. He actually gonna, okay, that's another news. Jackson is going to come back to our chat. But my question really is how long we are going to have this chat. I will be on YouTube. Everybody should understand. So I'm going to cut all the other conversation here, and I'm going to speak a bit about this chat. We have a serious problem. That is a lot of bills we need to pay. I can pull in some cash, but I'm not rich enough to actually make that kind of payments. Okay, so I'm the one who uses this chat, in a big way. But there are limits to my fundings too. So you should understand. But if people cannot actually pull this, then we have to call it quits. So for everybody, I will be on YouTube, so you can find me on YouTube. So my shows will become just YouTube, so it is in another 2 weeks or something like that. We have to make all those payments. Start, crowdfunding, so, well, we cannot go and ask other groups to actually pay for our, but live, chat and live, video chat and all. We cannot, because the other guys don't do that. They are like radio, so, but, it's only audio, so they do that, so that's a whole different, system. Maybe we should adopt to that system. We should have something like a Skype account, where we will create a group in there and we can do it all the Skype, instead of going through this setup. So, but, I'm not the decision maker on that. There are admins and other people who are, controlling this. They should actually discuss this matter very clearly, because, everybody received that email, from the site host. So, I was like, oh, wow, is it connected to donlypoint.com? Because I don't have anything like that, the system like this there. So, but I'll be available on YouTube. If YouTube shut me down, okay, then I will find Daily Motion or any PHP Motion or something like that, record the videos and put it out there. These sort of things will be there. Don't worry about it. So I love to hear. I love to say this. As he is, but that's one part of it. So discussing that discussion is also over. Now the next part that comes out is this poem. Okay, now I'm going to go through that poem thing. Ghost of the Unforgiven Love, or Ungiven Love. Unforgiven. I'm tripping on myself here. Yeah, this is basically, this poem was written the day before Christmas. I'm going to give you an idea about what really was happening. Like I said, I started from there saying that loneliness happens. I am spitting on myself. Oh my God. Okay. So everything, that can go bad, it's all going bad at the same time. Oh, I'm just kidding. I personally will have to tell you, during Christmas, it is a very nice time. It is a fantastic time. Everybody is in a mood of giving and forgiving, and things like that happen. And I'm going to be very honest here. All through that day, I was like in a mood of, self-containment, so it's like I'm not going out there. I've been, even when some people actually called me up and said, okay, you want to go out, and because there are other single guys like me, go out and eat something, and I said, like, no, I don't want anything. I don't want anything. I'm just, I'm just going to chill, man. And I stayed home, most of the time. Then towards the end, the day was spent mostly online. Yeah, people coming and celebrating Christmas in India and all. So I have my friend Jacob and my friend Ajay. He's actually in England. Ajay was actually telling that he will go to India for a visit. For a quick visit or something like that. That was it. I said, okay, we can coordinate together. But even though that didn't happen. So when all those kind of talk was what was going on, I drove to Bayshore Mall. I don't know, just had a feeling, just had a hunch that I should be in this mall. So I went there, and of course, that mall is in a in a complete disarray. I mean, there is shops are closing. They want to change, convert the mall to something else. Housing and all. So that's what they were speaking. And I think I went to Collectivo Coffee or something like that. Got a coffee. I think or Starbucks. I don't know. I don't remember it exactly. So I went around, and then it was a little late. Many places were just closing. So it's Christmas, man. It's Christmas Eve. Everybody was closing. So I took a drive around, in the suburbs, all around the area, just took a drive for an hour. So, so that, I can think through things. When I was thinking through things, this is what came out of it, this poem. This poem is what I came out, at the end of the day. So, the another note part started with this. I seek forgiveness from little boys. If at any point anything I did or said hurt her or even made her feel a little bad. Yesterday I said the same thing, and probably the day before yesterday. You know, yeah, there is a point at which I may have hurt somebody. And I always say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And once, it's not easy, but, please forgive me. It's not a simple task, for people sometimes to forgive. Now, then the Packers victory, that was all fantastic. And, uh, we were just there. Then that's where it started. I mean, the seeking forgiveness part is where it started. That's where the actual poem also started to actually come out. Because then, once some of the things that I thought is actually a stumbling block inside of me that is blocking me, that need to be taken out. That seeking forgiveness is an act, a self forgiving act that that came out. It's like more of a self forgiving than complete seeking forgiveness, because I know little boss, maybe I don't even know because where she is, at that time. She could be in Milwaukee or back in her home, or somewhere else. I don't know, so there is not even a point of even thinking where she is. So then the only thing is, okay, I'm seeking forgiveness from her, and I write about that, and I wrote that down, and then I said, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Then once I wrote it down, so this part of things, it's like a stone taken from your chest and taken away and moved away, and that's it. It's over, and that you put it aside, and then the rest of the things will come into place. Slowly, falling in places. That's what this all coming to, and. And then I made a video. Yeah, I made a video for Christmas video, which you can see in YouTube. When you are in my YouTube account, you probably will be able to see this. So I hope you will enjoy that video too. And it was like a Christmas message for everyone. And that's about it. That's the poem. And we are somebody told me either I stop at 30 or I can go all the way to 60, but now we are not even anywhere close to 60. So we may have to wrap this here, to be reading after reading the poem. Uh, Before I get into the poem, once more, there are situations that in a relationship people should handle together. If you think you can handle things all by yourself, you are going to actually fall face down, and it is not going to be a very pleasant situation for yourself. It will bring in a lot of stress. It will affect almost every part of your job and every part of your rest of your life. you know in a way, you may think that, oh, I don't want to even think about that guy, and I'm going to move on to another person, or I don't want to even think about a person, or something like somebody who you sidelined or pushed aside. And like I said, you get into a business kind of arrangement or relationship or something like that, and boom, that really may not work from both sides. It will not, because it's a business arrangement, unless you are that much into a physical relationship only. So if you are that much into it, and that's the only thing you are looking for, and then the other benefits comes from like in a work situation or something like that. When that happens, when this thing that is there and it just gets removed, and this person you sidelined is in the sidelines, he probably is the person who is in love with you, and you don't even know that is the truth. I mean, that is the truth. So you have to be very careful in dealing with such a situation. I'm actually looking at the chat. Is everything okay? I am not looking at the video. Oh yeah, I think it's a little fuzzy. Yeah, I don't know how to fix this. Let me see if I can adjust anything. Hello. Hey, Angela. Angela, are you a robot or are you a person? Okay. Here's the thing. I don't have any warranty with you. Okay. I don't want your warranty. And I can only guarantee you one thing. Next time you call me, I'm going to find you and I'm going to fuck you up. You understand? You understand? I'm going to fuck you up. Okay? Don't call me. It's like a robot that is, it's like a robocall. So I just want to make you fun of things, nothing serious. So yeah, let me see if I can fix this. Okay, where am I? Okay, why is this thing fuzzy? This is better. Okay, this is better. Okay, I'll leave it at that for the time being because I don't want to come into. Yeah, this is better. Yeah, even though some part I am not really sure. I was you should have told me earlier itself. That this is really fuzzy. Because I took the autofocus out in earlier itself. So it should not autofocus. So I said it's not autofocusing because that light can change because the light comes from outside unless I'm doing the show late in the night, which I may do later. So, so I'm going to go into here. I don't know what I was talking about. Uh, this poem. Now, let me come to the poem once more. This poem actually goes through a different wavelength. You should understand. Because the last part is where I got. I figured this out. 3 days before that, I was actually watching the movie, about the Christmas Carol. Because the reason I was watching that movie was it is one of my favorite TV actor who was acting in it. The guy who acted as Matthew Crawley in Downton Abbey. He's the one acting in that movie. This movie is about Charles Dickens. He's writing this Christmas Carol. That story. So he's going through all these internal things. So it is also as a writer myself who goes through a little. You used to, nowadays I don't. Eccentricity. When you are young and you're writing, and all these ideas pop in your head, you immediately want to write it down. So then you walk through this. So I myself wanted to do that. I used to do that when I was in India and all. I had plenty of paper sitting around and writing in this and that. Then I totally forgot where did I write that. Then I'll be searching, things like that. So when I saw, that's a movie. This I don't know. It's called A Christmas Carol. In the making. I don't know what it is, whatever that is called. You should watch that. It is. Matthew. This. I don't even know the name of the actor, but so the thing is, he's the one who is acting as Charles Dickens, and I was watching the show. So there they have the ghost of, Christmas past or present, things like that. That was in my head. So this name, I say, ghost of this ungiven love. So the idea came in, and I immediately said, ghost of the ungiven love. Then I took it from there. So the bottom part was the first part. Then I went up and up and up, from bottom to up. So that's how this poem was written. So just wanted to make sure that I say that. So let me bring this up and let's do this. That's so I need to move this a bit. So I was knowing that. Ghost of the ungiven love. Waves of wind roamed around to give chill and sway. Strong trees and to the lake shore bring a calming melancholy. Narrow streets welcomed mind and aching memories. Oh, what part of nature will give me a reason to forgive my own past? And memory lane took me to a gathered firestorm that burned bridges, and through mine became what melt soul to a loveless lump. Life undefined, when again and again, loveless and alone, I stood. Blame me not, oh crazy world. I loved and I lost and I moved. Then in my mind, a thought like a whispering witch sprouted. Past doesn't determine who you are, nor it will determine the ways of the world at you. Future is what fulfills dreams you weave, and in imperfections to absolute perfection. Oh dear, my dearest, the darling of all, my only love, the ungiven love in your soul, do you feel in thrills? Do you feel the suffocation of that love to unfold and fulfill? For the love I gave unreturned, unfulfilled like a ghost wanders. That is the poem. We, with all these things going on, we pushed everything to about 50, and now it is much more clear. I can, I got Joe's message. Uh, yeah, now to go back to Jackson, I'm sorry, if Jackson was, exposed to people. Jackson had a divorce. I'm going to be honest here. Jackson will be honest too, when he comes back. He had a divorce. Materially problem, the material problem, it's a material problem. It's not, it's not that, they may come back and marry again or things like that. But it is a lot to do with, whispering witches. A lot of people talking to them, stupidity. This is once more I say, your friends are going to become your worst enemy in a relationship. So if you are in a relationship, married or unmarried, business, or just screwing around, so just don't listen to any of your friends. Don't listen to your family. You are no None of your family members are coming into your bedroom and going to sleep with you, nor your friends, unless your friends are friends with benefits and things like that. That is also not a very healthy situation. But for a short term, yeah, you can manage that, but then it will become a cumbersome problem. Uh, but none of them are going to permanently sit there inside your bedroom, waiting for you every night. That's not going to happen. Okay? So the person who you really love, that's the thing. You need to understand that this is a person I really love. That is a person who loves me, who loves to be with me. So you understand that and accept that person. There may be 1,000 people screaming around, roaming around. Like I said, earlier, they will, in the yesterday's, I think around the poem or something like that. They will come and strip down, butt naked, and dance and cry, and you have no idea. There is one thing you need to immediately tell them: it is my life. It is my life. I decide what my life is. And because I saw this, in a video, and I told this at that time because there was this brother and a sister, and that sister is a convert to Islam. So she is wearing all these hijab and other things, and it's not a funny thing, she's sanctifying herself, from all that. From every other thing, so it's her choice, So, but her brother, who is not a convert, she's actually playing the Quran for him, and he's listening, even though he's not a Muslim or anything. He's like, yeah, he's reading this, the translation that is coming up, easily. So at that time, I was like, this is like, is she forcing him to listen to this? Because that's not a good thing. So I may have to immediately leave a comment saying that, oh, you cannot do that. But that's not what her intention was. It is actually a pure thought of, a sanctified thought of, exposing somebody to And at the end of it, when he said that, I may have to say this, because that discussion came up. That's what I'm saying. uh, at the end of that video, you can see him saying, see, I had a thought of understanding about about the whole religion and the book and all those things. you know he said that changed, that perception changed. And she said, that's it. That's all we need to actually look for. In the same way, when we look into a relationship, when we have a plenty of issues that are coming up, whether it is, like I said, once more, I'm going to repeat, it is any kind of relationship, there will be plenty of people that are trying to influence you. That will, at the end of it, your perception, only that can actually have a little sway. But the real factors of that relationship stays as is. So, like that man, he's not converting to any religion. He has his own belief. He has his own feelings. So he do have that. But the perceptions he had. That's the only thing she is trying to actually say. You have a perception about a religion which is not the right one, as in my opinion. That's our thing. And that changed. And he said, okay, yeah, rightfully, you did a good job. Playing that particular chapter. It's not a very small chapter. So it may take itself in a completely different show to do that. So Joe, don't ask me to do that right now, because we are almost done with this segment of the show. So I'm going to urge everybody, contribute whatever you can. I will contribute myself, whatever I can. I may have to look at my funding situations. Well, it may not be a lot. I'm not in a financially wonderful situation. So yeah, the COVID-19 and coronaviruses actually scared almost all the recruiters away from me, and I'm just scrambling around, looking around. Man, something need to happen. So Monday, I'm going to actually talk to somebody. That can only happen next Monday, because that person is also not in town. Everybody is working from home. So it is their discretion whether they should answer emails or things like that. Some of the things that happened in this week was very stressful. So even though I come in the evening and give you a smiling and things like that, it was a little bit of a it had its own stresses. So I was like, yeah, at the end of the day, I posted on Facebook. I don't know whether I am allowed to show that video. I don't think so. It is like in sports, basically in sports, and yeah, it's in sports completely. How people respect each other, the sportsmanship that comes up. It is a YouTube video on that, and I posted that on my Facebook account, and I said, okay, at the end of this turbulent week, it all comes down to one thing: respect. You respect yourself first. That's a key part. Okay, I need to respect myself. I cannot simply sit here and make fun of myself and expect other people to respect me. If they are not respecting me, I will not be able to give them respect. This is where things are going down, 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 down. So the first thing you should do is, okay, you should respect every feeling that comes inside of you. You cannot call it stupid. You cannot call it, some sort of arrogance or anything. It is what you are that is making you think that way. You respect that, you understand that, and see where it is the origin, and then you deal with that in that way. Then it will become amicable for you. So that's what we should take by the end of this week, because it is not easy. Life is not easy, and there is a lot of people. Even today, there's like nearly 20,000 people got infected, completely new people getting infected by this coronavirus, and there are, I don't know how many people died in this. I say about 20,000. Just today, and even in Wisconsin, like 300 people. Uh, and it's a lot of people going through a lot of rough times. And the health insurance companies right now are saying, okay, we are done. So that is a scary situation that is coming up right now, because there is no governmental infrastructure in the United States to take care of this. So I don't know where this is going to go. This is going to become really rough and tough, before it all cleans up. So we have to understand all those situations, and don't take too much of stress in it. De-stress yourself, in the best possible ways. So at the end of the day, you have to respect that you need to be respected. The first person you should respect is yourself, and that's where it starts. And then you will understand that everything you do, and is how other people are doing it. and then you will be able to respect them more. That's where things are. I'm going to wrap this up with that and saying, okay, everybody, enjoy the weekend. I don't know whether I'll be able to do a show tomorrow. If possible, I will do it. But weekends, anyway, it's full with other people doing shows too. So I'll respect that. So yeah, next person is ready. I know. So go ahead and start your thing. And I'm done here, and I'm going to actually go maybe take a walk around, or let's see how things evolve from here. So if she's watching, little boss, may God smile upon you all always. Bye bye.